I'd love to talk a little bit about change management. I want to first pose a question to the wider group here, maybe controversial. What actually breaks down in your process when you roll out AI? Is it trust? Is it workflow clarity, ownership, customer expectations, something else? Where do you guys struggle the most with your AI rollout? I'm really curious to hear from you guys. Carrie says tracking the tweaks. Dan is saying hallucinations are on the clients, not on the AI. And then William says customer expectations, as in it's not what they have been used to. Immediate rejection from the client side.
That's what we had.
Yeah,
It
really?
was
About it, Tom.
rejection from the client, this sort of trust that you've developed with the people when you call them.
Hmm.
All of a sudden now we couldn't be trusted because we were asking a robot, and it got to the point. This was one person in one company had just lost all trust, but it was spreading like wildfire. And then before you know it, we've got their CEO coming to us saying, "I believe you're using AI to solve our problems." And we're like, no, it's just people get this image in the head that the help desk has just got the feet up and we're just leaving it with the robot to solve all the issues. And like, it's once they've got that mindset of it can't be trusted, it's AI, it's impossible to break.
I would say it's impossible. I think the important part, Tom, and I agree with you, it is hard. It's very hard. Once you don't trust something or once you feel like you're locked in that state of mind, it's really hard to break that. And so I think messaging becomes important there. Like what you say at the beginning and how you start that relationship with the customer and those expectations you set going in are that's the most important time to align so that they know what's coming and how it's being framed. Which by the way, I have some assets I'm going to share with you guys in just a little bit to maybe help you guys with some of those conversations. But let me get back to the deck here. Before we get into the customer expectation setting side, I do want to talk about change management more broadly, which is I want to propose a framework for you guys. Change is hard. There is some aspect of change of like, hey, we're going to do this change and you have to commit to it. But it's important to get people ready for that change. So we have a framework that we use in a lot of our onboardings, and we see that it works well with a lot of our partners, which is number one, start internal. Use introduce your AI internally. Introduce maybe you want to introduce the assistive AI or the agents on your internal service tickets. Everyone, even though we're providing IT support for our customers, we also need to provide IT support for ourselves too, right? So probably your techs are submitting tickets when they have an IT issue and they don't have the access to the privileges to solve it. So always start internal, then roll out in waves. As you prepare for your customer rollout, for your technician rollout, roll out in waves. You don't need to do everything at once. From the internal point of view, that could be getting your level one or your tier one technician team working in thread and working alongside AI first. Then you introduce tier two teams. Maybe it's your tier two team that's starting out first, but roll it out in waves. Another thing that we've seen work a lot is rotations, like build a rotation in your service desk and have the first person on rotation that's working with the AI train the next person on rotation. You give them the bandwidth, you give them the time and the assignment to like learn this tool and learn how it works and then train the next person who then trains the next person. That's a method that works really well too. But start with a controlled customer set, customers you have a good relationship with, customers that are submitting tickets, not your smallest customers. Doesn't have to either be your most important or your biggest customers first. Start with the customers that you have that relationship with. Start with the techs that are always those change drivers in your organization, right? Everyone has them. Everyone has people in their org that are like really operationally smart people. They're good at ops. They're good at changing things. They always want to try new things. Those are people that are good to put in front of this. And then be really clear on what work is the AI going to be taking on in this model and what work are still owned by humans. And that should be made really clear with your customers too. You got to be very clear on this with your customers. Otherwise, your customers are coming in with the framing that I don't trust this. As you roll this out and as you scale up, share the proof that it's working with the wider organization and with your customers. Communicate with them. You're doing this to make things more efficient, to improve response times, to deliver better service to your customers. So let them know that it's working. Communicate with them. So, what needs to happen for your techs to trust the rollout? I think the first thing is you need to explain to them why. Why are you doing this? Like, I think so many of us are so eager to roll things out, and we don't talk about the why behind something. We talk about that we're doing this. We say we may even not even communicate at all, but communication is important, and having everyone on board on why we're doing this is important, right? A lot of people, when you're introducing AI, are wondering, hey, do I have to worry about my job? Let's be honest. And so explaining the why is important and not aligning that why to fears around headcount, particularly internally. Show them what's changing. Show them this is what your workflow looks like today. This is what it's going to look like now that we've introduced AI. Be very clear about who's owning what processes now. AI is now doing first response, if AI is now doing prioritization, categorization. Be very clear to your techs what they're taking on. And then what happens when the AI fails? Because the AI is no different than a human in the sense that humans make mistakes, AI makes mistakes. I know Daniel mentioned earlier that one of the things that breaks is when AI hallucinates. I think someone else mentions that it's not the AI that's hallucinating, it's the customer. In that scenario, there's always going to be issues that come up. And so, what happens when that issue comes up? If the AI mistitles something, if it misses something, what should your text be doing? So, and then what do customers need to hear before you roll out the AI? And this is important, and I got some assets to share with you guys here. Communicating with your customers before you roll out is probably one of the most important things you do, you guys. Just like you need to communicate with your team internally and be very clear with them. If you don't say anything to your customers, they're going to see an agent start to talk with them, and they're going to be like, what the hell is going on? What happened to my MSP? What happened to Tom? What happened to the people supporting me? You need to make three promises to your customers. We find that making these three promises is a really good recipe for successful communication. And I don't know if Kurt or Max from GoodellNet are on the call here, but they actually taught us this. And so huge props to them. The number one promise that you want to make is we're introducing AI, but you still have a support team. It's still the same people supporting you day in, day out. This is to improve service. It's not to replace your relationship. What are the benefits of this change? Communicate the promise that yes, you will get faster, more consistent service. Don't be wishy washy about this. You're doing this for a reason. So communicate it. And you're going to, and let your customers know that you're going to monitor, you're going to improve this over time. I can't remember who said it, but I think it was Carrie was saying, like, hey, I'm making constant tweaks to the prompts. I'm improving the AI over time. And that's something just like you continuously train a human over time, you're going to continuously help work to improve the AI over time. And those workflow rules, those prompts that you're using to govern that behavior is going to be changing over time. So let your customers know that, hey, we're launching this, but we're going to continue to monitor and improve this so that you're getting the best possible service. And so before I talk about the AI rollout playbook, I want to share an asset for you guys. We've been, as you guys know, we love Lovable. We play around with Lovable all the time. And so we built a voice AI asset builder. So, we built a tool to help you build white labeled assets for your customers if you're rolling out the new voice agents. Let me share my screen. I'll spotlight it for you guys. If you check this out, now this is still a work in progress, meaning we're going to be improving this over time, probably adding this article to our help docs so that more people can have access to it. but we wanted to give you an early preview about how we think about some of these pillars of communication. And so we built an email template for you, a one-page FAQ, a 30, 60-day success email, and it's like a social media post and other things that you can use to communicate with your customers. And you can customize this. This is a lovable app, so you can customize your brand colors, play around with whatever these 3 colors are, add in your logos, add in your company names. You can even edit the text in these paragraphs to have it say whatever you want. Okay. Now, this email template that I have here on my screen is built for those who are just using our voice AI overflow agent. So a technician isn't picking up the call on the other end. It's just taking a ticket. You may want to modify this text slightly to align with how you guys are using voice AI. But I did want to share this asset with you guys. I want to just spotlight, I'm going to pin that in the chat and then spotlight what William just said, because I think it's really, really important. William said about framing for the customers, I'd frame it as we are improving our process as we onboard and roll out this new tool, not we are updating the tool. You don't want to come off as you rolled something out before it was ready. 100%, William. Thank you for the clarification. I love that. Frame it as it's a continuous improvement process. And I think that'll land well with your customers. So last slide, or almost last slide. Step 1, before launch, pick some simple use cases that you're gonna go live with. Start with low risk use. You see it in our onboarding. We like to start our partners out with using the assistive AI. That's a priority category titling because it's low risk. Always be sure to write up your customer facing materials, train up your service team and test it. And then at launch, start with a subset of customers, communicate with those customers, monitor closely, and then continue to roll out in those waves while sharing the results of your successes and your wins. All right. So the methodology is start small, prove it, then expand.